Hello,
My name is Rahul.
my name is Srimati Reddy.
And we are here to talk to you about the 13th Amendment.
The 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the USA.
Slavery was a very old type of labor that used to be used in the United States and many other countries.
The 13th Amendment abolishes slavery. Slavery as a legal institution disappears. It can't happen anywhere in America, therefore there can't be slaves.
The 13th Amendment formally abolished slavery in the United States with the Senate signing the 13th Amendment.
The 13th Amendment was passed by the Senate on April 8, 1864, and by the House of Representatives on January 31st, 1865.
On December 6, 1865, the 13th Amendment was put into effect.
Abraham Lincoln put the Emancipation Proclamation into effect, but Senate put the 13th Amendment into effect.
Slavery was abolished 152 years ago.
First, however, Abraham Lincoln had to sign the Emancipation Proclamation.
The Emancipation Proclamation was a proclamation made by Abraham Lincoln that was supposed to abolish slavery in the southern states, but it didn't completely abolish slavery.
The 13th Amendment was needed to completely abolish slavery, but because some people still kept slaves.
No,
But why?
because Africans were mistreated.
Is the 13th Amendment important to you?
Yes,
Why?
because African Americans were now treated fairly. If the 13th Amendment was not created, there would have been still slavery around us.
Do you think that the 13th Amendment completely abolished slavery?
No, the purpose of the 13th Amendment was let the African American have equal rights with Americans and to abolish slavery. After the 13th Amendment was signed, there was a civil rights movement, because African men were not able to vote.
Do you or your family ancestors have any ties with slavery or some kind of slavery?
Yes, my grandparents have seen the slavery.
Since your grandparents saw slavery, what was some of their jobs? What were some of the slaves' jobs?
My grandparents told me that they have saw the slaves working out in the cotton fields from sunrise to sunset. They also saw doing the laundry.
Do you think that the Civil War helped end slavery?
Yes, because the North did not want the slavery, but the South want. The Civil War helped reunite the nations. If there had not been a civil war, the South would have split away from the North. Then, if Abraham Lincoln passed the 13th Amendment, it wouldn't matter, because the South was not part of the country now.
The 13th Amendment did not end racial segregation.
One example is that the African Americans use drugs at the same rate as Americans. African Americans are imprisoned for drug crimes at 20 to 50 times the rate of white people in some states.
The 13th Amendment is important to us because some of our ancestors were slaves in India. The British, Dutch, and Arabs all enslaved people in India. Some of our ancestors who lived in North America did not like slaves. Our ancestors passed down the stories about how it felt to be a slave. It's been passed down all the way to us.
That did not happen to all of us, though. Do you like slavery?
No.
Why?
I don't think anyone should be treated like a slave. That we should be all, all the same ones, same people.
Is the 13th Amendment important to you?
Well, that's the one that abolished slavery, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely is important, yeah.
Do you think that the 13th Amendment completely abolished slavery?
I hesitate in that because I wonder, it supposedly has, but I hesitate because I'm sure around the United States they still find people that are treated as slaves.
Yeah. Do you or your family ancestors have any ties with slavery or
No.
some kind of slavery?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Do you think that the Civil War helped end slavery?
It's hard. That's also very hard to say because a lot of black people fought in the Civil War. You know, that's they were part of the troops, so that's hard to say.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
However, it still affected all of our lives.